As Oscar has just told you, we are several partners in this European project, and for the first part of our project. In the first part of the presentation, I shall talk about the research objective and team. Then I will continue with some challenges. We'll detail the methodology and workflow. And in the second part of this morning session, all the partners will detail the national results. We have basically two main goals. The first immediate goal, to accomplish the first stage of the project, is to understand more about the status and needs of easy-to-read validators and facilitators. And this goal would, of course, contribute to the creation, to the accomplishment of a general goal, namely to create a common European framework for the validation of easy-to-read content. The first intellectual output, the first stage of the project was coordinated by our team at Politehnica University, and all partners contributed to its successful completion. Of course, like with any other new project, we had to cope with some challenges, mainly because we were facing a new, unexplored field. As you probably know, there is a lack of sources in this area. The interpersonal component was also a major challenge because some of the project members do not or did not have a working history together. Not to mention the global pandemic situation. So most of us have never met face-to-face. Last but not least, all our project meetings had to be done 100% offline using technology. However, these challenges turned into motivation. They motivated us because we wanted to contribute to a greater good, to a greater goal. Namely, we were united because we wanted to create and we want to create new and attractive jobs for people who use easy-to-read or who have difficulties reading and understanding text and information. At the same time, we want to support them becoming easy-to-read validators and also help those who want to become easy-to-read facilitators. Last but not least, we were motivated by the fact that we knew that we would contribute to a greater vision of a European inclusive society, to make information easier to read and understand for all of us, including those with reading and understanding difficulties. This is the workflow and the methodology we all agreed upon. And in the following slides, I will detail every step of this workflow. First of all, we created a database of easy-to-read procurers. These are publishing houses, NGOs, organizations that publish or are involved with easy-to-read and validation content. Together with our partners, we managed to create a database of 148 such procurers in Europe, mostly in the project countries. They are basically the direct beneficiaries of the project results. In parallel, we started to disseminate our project, even that it is in a new and novel field. We wanted to inform them about the existence of the project, about its launch, and to increase the visibility of the project. As a dissemination strategy, we created an official website, the Train2Validate.org, which in case you haven't accessed already, you are invited to do so. And at the same time, we became very visible on different social media platforms. We sent regular emails to stakeholders, to the advisory board members, associated partners, and so on. We created a newsletter and we gave interviews and made presentations. Another action which we developed in parallel was to create a repository with specialized literature in the field. This virtual library contains different books, guides, scientific articles related to easy to read, which we used as a basis for our research. Concerning the activities which ultimately led to the creation of an online multilingual survey, these were the production of a first draft of the survey in English. So basically we started from scratch and we collaborated to produce a first draft in English of the survey. And then based on the comments and the suggestions on the first draft, we created a final draft which we translated into the project languages. We created then an online version and uploaded all the versions on the project website. The next step in the workflow, in creating the survey, the general philosophy which we used was to use as much as possible easy to read language, to be concise so as to minimize the time of completion, and to offer enough information and choices to the surveyees so as to get relevant and qualitative answers. In what follows, I will very briefly mention the structure of the survey. It has an introductory part in which we detailed the scope, our expectations, and then we had a series of 5 sections. We started to disseminate the launch of the survey, again, in a series of press releases on our project website, on media platforms, and by sending emails to easy-to-read procurers. Our activity did not remain without an echo, and we were very happy to see that people answered the survey, and in this way we had a sound basis for our analysis. As you can see, we totaled a number of 336 surveys from different countries. Based on the results we obtained, the next step of the workflow was to create national survey reports. In this way, we have a clear view, a clear image of the status of validators and facilitators in all the project countries. We created the reports, we translated the reports into English. Each partner basically did that from their own modern languages. And last but not least, we created a consolidated report consisting of the answers we collected from all the surveys, which we would ultimately use for the basis of our analysis. These are the national survey results and reports which we have. In addition, we also have, so to speak, an open survey, because the language which we offered for the completion of the survey was also English. So we also have some international answers. And in this morning, the project partners will focus on the most representative results they obtained in their own countries. We will continue with Spain and Oscar will present the results and the highlights of the training for facilitators and validators. From Italy, Rosia will continue next. And from Germany, Rosia will continue next. And from Italy, Carlo Eugeni and Francesca Bleve. We will continue then with the situation of validators and facilitators in Romania. And Slovenia will follow next. Angela Cotoară from Fundația Profesional will offer an overall presentation summing up the answers of the survey given in English. And last but not least, we will present the overall results based on all the surveys. So this was a general presentation of the philosophy and of the working methodology in the first part of the project. And the results will definitely help us to develop the future intellectual outputs and to meet the expectations of the project. If there are any questions or comments, please feel free to ask them now, or as we mentioned, please feel free to address them in the chat area. Thank you very much for your attention. I'm trying to look in the chat area as well. There are some indications for those who want to use the Romanian language or the English language. Please follow these instructions, and we will answer all other questions as soon as you address them in the chat area. So thank you once again for your attention.